All right, so I'm going to be talking about the Americans with Disability Act, ADA. This became a law in 1990. The ADA is a civil right law that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disability in all areas of public life, including jobs, school, transportation, and all public and private places that are open to the general public. The purpose of the law is to make sure that people with disabilities have the same rights and opportunities as everyone else. ADA is divided into 5 titles or sections related to different areas of public life. I'm going to explain them 5 titles. Title 1 is employment. Equal employment opportunity for individuals with disabilities. This title is designed to help people with disabilities access the same employment opportunities and benefits available to people without disabilities. Employers must provide reasonable accommodations to qualified applicants and employees. The second title of ADA is state and local government. Non-discrimination on the basis of disability in state and local government services. This title prohibits discrimination on the basis of a disability by public entities, which are programs, services, and activities operated by state and local governments. The public entities must make sure its programs, services, and activities are accessible to individuals with disabilities. The third title of ADA is public accommodations. This title prohibits private places of public accommodations from discriminating against individuals with disabilities. The fourth title is telecommunications. This title requires telephone and internet companies to provide a nationwide system of interstate and intrastate telecommunications relay services that allows individuals with hearing and speech disabilities to communicate over the telephone. And then Title 5 is a miscellaneous provisions, which is the final title contains a variety of provisions relating to the ADA as a whole, including its relationship to other laws, states, immunity, and impact on insurance providers and benefits, legal use of drugs, attorney fees. This title also provides a list of certain conditions that are not to be considered as disabilities. So Americans Disability Act is basically protecting people with disabilities throughout the United States in public and private sectors to help them in society. The next part of this is the Section 504 Rehabilitation Act, which is more government related. So I'm going to explain how that works. So what is Section 504? I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. The Rehabilitation Act 1973, or Section 504, is a national law that protects qualified individuals from discrimination based on their disability. The non-discrimination requirement of the law applies to employers and organizations that receive financial assistance, which is money from the government, from any federal department or agency, including United States Department of Health and Human Services. These organizations and employers include many hospitals, nursing homes, mental health centers, and human service programs. Section 504 forbids organizations, employers from excluding or denying individuals with disabilities an equal opportunity to receive program benefits and services. It defines the right of individuals with disabilities to participate in and have access to program benefits and services. What is protected from discrimination? Section 504 protects qualified individuals with disabilities under this law. Individuals with disabilities are defined as persons with a physical or mental impairment which substantially limits one or more major life activities. People who have a history of or who are regarded as having a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities are also covered. Major life activities include caring for oneself, walking, seeing, hearing, speaking, breathing, working, performing manual tasks, and learning. Some examples of impairments which may substantially limit major life activities, even with the help of medication or aids devices, are AIDS, alcoholism, blindness or visual impairment, cancer, deafness, and hearing impairments, diabetes, drug addiction, heart attacks, and mental illness. So the kind of the difference between the two, the 504 is the protection of any service that receives money from the government to make sure that they are getting the help they need and not being discriminated against them. So, services like hospitals, colleges, things like that, anyone that's receiving money from the government, this the 504, Section 504 Rehabilitation Act, is making sure that they're not discriminated against. And then Americans versus Disabilities Act is kind of a worldwide or a United States nationwide law put in place to provide services in the public and private sectors to help to make sure that they're getting the rights they need, like handicap parking spots, accessibility to buildings, making sure that people in employment are getting what they need and a fair shot of getting a job. You see things like curbs on a roadside that, so people can get access to the sidewalks. You're talking about rails, elevators in buildings so people can access different floors. So that's kind of what the ADA is all about. So that's just a little information about Americans versus Disabilities Act and what Section 504 Rehabilitation Act of 1973 is. So hopefully you have some information about both of them now and how they work. Thank you very much.